Okay, everybody. I wanted to give a quick little update. This will probably be about 10 minutes. Sean is unfortunately out of town, which is unfortunate. Let me get my levels right here. So it'll be very strange for me to talk directly into a camera because I don't normally do that. I wanted to just give a few thank yous because we had that Carlos Mazza video we did that was concerning Steven Crowder and the Apocalypse. That gained us, for us anyway, quite a bit of subscribers, and mostly what was so cool about it was some really, really fun, flattering comments about how our messaging was clear and how you guys liked what we were saying and how you're going to become regular listeners. And that's ultimately what our goal is by doing this, is just to sort of disseminate some of this nonsense culture war stuff that is making gay people look bad and make us look like a bunch of pearl-clutching Christian mothers, which that is the last thing that I want us to be viewed as, but we don't really seem to be doing a good job of figuring that out for ourselves. Let me cover up my medication here. It's a weird thing to have in the frame. So I wanted to say thank you to all the new subscribers that we have. Like we said in the main full-length podcast video, our goal is to get to 100 subscribers. I feel like it's a very small goal, but we're already rapidly approaching it after that Carlos Mazza video. So we're hoping that that will result in some more people joining up. What's so funny about this Carlos Mazza incident is it basically went exactly how I predicted it on the full podcast, which is that it has just made Steven Crowder into an absolute martyr, which if your goal is to make someone like that go away or have their voice be silenced or at the very least diminished, you would hope that you would not over dramatize the things that they're doing, or else it again makes them into a martyr where they now have a point that they are being censored and they just rally their base even harder and then turn people off to people who are kind of gay-centric channels like Carlos Mazza, who just have shitty takes on things, and makes someone like Crowder's audience grow, who is somebody that I don't personally have any problems with the things he says, but at the very least I would say he doesn't have a lot of respect for gay people in general. And frankly, based on how we seem to, our loudest voices with megaphones seem to be behaving, I am not terribly surprised that this is the case, and I think a lot of his vitriol is justified, to say the least. Kind of on the same token, what's been so funny to me is that this straight pride thing that's happening in Boston, I don't know the exact date, just seems to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, again, because people just don't seem to understand that if you just embrace these things and you let them happen and you don't make it into a giant pearl-clutching incident, they are rendered completely powerless. If Boston Pride would have just said, okay, the straight pride thing is happening, the pride marches are for everybody, you're welcome to join us, no problem, it would have not become the epic troll that it has become, as evidenced by the court jester himself. Milo Yiannopoulos has now become the Grand Master for the straight pride march. So my advice to gay people who are reacting to this poorly is just to fucking relax, grow up, embrace it, don't clutch your pearls, and just let this happen as something that should just be largely ignored and really isn't even that big of a deal. It's only gaining the momentum that it's gaining and the amount of energy because you're getting so upset over it, which is exactly what they wanted you to do. The last thing that I wanted to talk about, this is only going to be about 10 minutes sort of check-in thing, because like I said, it's very strange to not have Sean here, and I don't like doing these without him, because he's sort of my voice of reason, is to pull up this amazing New York Times article that I'm sure you're all aware of, where they have decided that they know who is in the alt-right. What's so funny about this image, so basically the crux of this article is that someone through YouTube algorithms, people were suggested further and further right, but the problem is the article pretty much debunks itself by the end of it because the person ends up going back towards the center to center left. But I want to pull up the picture here because you have ContraPoints down here at the corner, you have Philip DeFranco, two people who are not even slightly on the right. I think this is the Cult of Dusty guy who has become... He was like a Cult of Dusty was a atheist YouTuber when that was still edgy to do, and then he kind of remained in that lane, and now he's become a weird SJW. The obvious ones that shouldn't be here, like Jordan Peterson, Molyneux even. Stefan Molyneux is somebody who kind of borders on abusing the race realist data, but at the same time, I think giving him attention and calling him alt-right or an extremist figure again, just makes him into a martyr, which is what we want to avoid doing if you want to actually make progress for your goals. So that was utterly and completely ridiculous, but not surprising in the slightest. So I just wanted to give this quick little update, give you guys a big thank you for the new subscribers that we've gained over the last few days because of the Carlos Mazza thing. Just so you guys know, in future, people who are kind of regular listeners, Sean's out of town, and I'm going to be out of town as well. So normally we stream every every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time for approximately an hour. And then I'm going to take one clip out like I did with the Carlos Mazza story and then pull that into a separate thing so we can kind of help grow the channel that way if you don't want to consume, or if you just don't want to consume an hour long of content. I know it's kind of a long time for you to do. The podcast is also available on the podcast app if that's a way that you choose to consume media. But I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, so much for your support and for your really, really rad and cool comments that we've been getting. It really validates us doing this, and it makes it feel like we're reaching an audience which I wasn't sure that existed. What was so strange to me is that when I speak to civilian gay people that are not radicalized in any kind of way, or generally speaking, I mean, even ones that kind of have more radical opinions, when you approach things from the angle we took on that Carlos Mazza video, almost everybody's in agreement, even if they had a knee-jerk reaction to it, because most of the time it's because they know so little of Crowder, or they have never consumed any of his content to kind of know where he's coming from. So they view him as this threat or this dangerous person. In reality, he's just a very down-the-line sort of boomer, like paleocon conservative, I would say, kind of at the very least. Nothing he's saying is dangerous or is going to change anything concerning our rights. And frankly, voices like that should exist. And if you have better ideas to debate him, then that's what you should be doing. Not just screaming and crying and asking mommy and daddy to make the problem go away. Because ultimately that makes you look weak and it makes you look like a fucking pathetic coward. So yes, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. we will stream. We look very much forward to seeing the new faces that we saw in our comments and that have been subscribing to us in the last few days. And we love it if you're able to catch it live, just because we love getting the comments to come in. And you guys do a lot of work to fact check me or make the shit I'm saying more interesting, because I'm a giant fucking idiot. And so we just so appreciate having you here. And that's all I have to say. And we will be back at 7 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday. I love you all, and chunk my corn.